You've probably seen Amul butter or milk in the store, right? Well, when you're looking at that package, you're not just looking at a dairy product. You're actually looking at a revolution. I mean, this is a story about how a few farmers got together and built a global giant that completely changed millions of lives. It's an incredible story. So let's get right into it.
Okay, so to really get why Amul is such a big deal, you have to picture what things were like before it existed. For millions of dairy farmers in India, it was a pretty grim situation. You had these middlemen and big private dairies who basically controlled everything. They held all the cards, and you can bet they kept almost all the profits for themselves.
And this story, it really just hits you. It comes from one of Amul's district unions, and it paints a perfect picture of the struggle. Imagine this. A woman's husband passes away, and her in-laws basically tell her, "Sorry, we can't afford to feed you." She's left with absolutely nothing except for one cow. She's the perfect example of so many small farmers who were just trapped in a system that was built to keep them down. But she started selling her milk. And with those tiny earnings, she bought a calf, then a buffalo. And get this, she was eventually able to educate her children. Now, her incredible journey, it was only possible because a completely radical new system came along.
So what did that system look like in practice? Well, check out these numbers because the difference is just staggering. On one side, you have private dairies paying farmers as little as 17 rupees for a liter of milk. 17. But at the exact same time, farmers in the Amul Cooperative, they were getting almost double that, around 30 to 31 rupees. So you gotta ask, where did all that missing money go? Yep, straight into the pockets of the middleman and the private owners. This right here, this massive injustice, this was the spark that was about to light a huge fire.
But all that exploitation, it didn't just lead to more poverty and despair. No, it led to a revolution, a total reinvention of how business could be done, one that put the power right back where it belonged, with the people actually doing the work. So let's go back to 1946. The farmers in Gujarat, they just had enough. They were completely fed up, so they went on strike. They just flat out refused to sell their milk to the private companies. And right out of that protest, a tiny cooperative was born, just 2 village societies to start. Then, a few years later, this brilliant young engineer, Dr. Verghese Kurian, shows up. He joins their cause and, well, together, they basically built an empire. And the system they built was called the Anand pattern. The idea behind it was, simple on the surface, but absolutely radical for the time. Here's the deal. The farmers would own everything. I'm not just talking about their own cows. I mean, everything. The milk collection centers, the factories that process the milk, the marketing, even the brand itself. The entire chain, from the cow to the customer, belonged to them. Okay, so you're probably wondering, how on earth does that actually work? I mean, how do you get millions of individual farmers scattered all over the place to work together like one massive, super efficient company? Well, it all comes down to a really smart, elegant structure. It's basically a 3-level system, and it's brilliant. Okay, so at the bottom, at the village level, you have the farmers themselves. We're talking 3.6 million of them. They bring their milk twice a day to their local village co-op. Step 2, those thousands of village co-ops then own the next level up, which is the 18 district unions. These are the guys who collect all the milk and run the big processing plants. And then at the very top, those district unions own the state federation, which is the marketing and business brain behind the whole Amul brand. So it's completely democratic, built from the ground up. And this quote from the CEO of Amul, it just says it all. "My business goal is to buy my raw material at as high a price as possible." I mean, stop and think about that. Can you imagine the CEO of, any other giant company saying their goal is to pay more for their supplies? It's the complete opposite of how we think business works. It just flips the whole model on its head. And here's that contrast laid out plain and simple. For a normal corporation, the goal is pretty straightforward. Maximize profit for your shareholders. And how do you do that? Usually by squeezing your suppliers and buying your raw materials as cheap as you possibly can. But for a cooperative like Amul, the goal is to maximize profit for the farmers. Why? Because the farmers are the owners. They are the shareholders. Every single bit of profit either gets put back into the business or it goes directly back to the farmers. So this farmer-first way of thinking, it wasn't just some nice idea. It turned out to be an incredible business strategy. The results, the sheer scale of what this cooperative has built are, well, they're just mind-blowing. Get ready for some big numbers. Okay, first up, 3.6 million. That's how many farmer owners are at the heart of this thing. And let's be super clear on this. They're not workers, they're not contractors, they are the owners. And those millions of owners?
They're organized into more than 18,600 village cooperative societies. It's this huge, powerful network at the most local level. Together, that network collects 31 million liters of milk. And that's not per year or per month. That's every single day. Just trying to imagine the logistics of pulling that off is insane.
And what does all of that add up to in terms of money? An annual turnover of around 80,000 crore rupees. That's about 9.6 billion US dollars. With numbers like that, Amul isn't just an Indian success story, it's one of the biggest food brands in the world. Period. But honestly, the numbers are just part of the story. The biggest result, the real impact, is this. This whole cooperative movement, which became known as the White Revolution, literally transformed India. It took the country from being milk deficient to becoming the single largest milk producer on the entire planet. Think about that. India now produces almost a quarter of the world's milk, all because of this model.
So you've completely dominated the dairy industry. What do you do for an encore? Well, if you're Amul, the answer is pretty simple. You take the model that worked so well and you apply it to, well, everything else.
And they are not wasting any time. Amul is expanding aggressively. They're jumping into the protein market with things like whey protein and high-protein milk. They're getting into organic foods, pulses, rice, you name it. And they're going global, launching in the US and now heading into Europe. But the really game-changing move, the most exciting part, is that they're taking this whole cooperative idea beyond just milk. That's right. They're using the exact same playbook to help farmers get fair prices for other crops like rice and wheat. This is huge because it offers a real market-based solution to some of the big debates around agricultural pricing in India. Instead of relying on just government programs, it connects farmers directly to customers around the world, making sure they're the ones who see the benefit. And all of this brings us to a really big question, doesn't it? We live in a world that's constantly worrying about food security and how to farm sustainably. And here's Amul, which has shown for more than 75 years that you can build a business that is wildly successful and incredibly ethical. So it makes you wonder, could a model that's designed to pay farmers more, not less, be the answer we're looking for to help reshape our global food system? It's a powerful thought. The taste of India might just be a taste of the future for all of us.